What's good, guys, and welcome to the seventh episode of the Two Point Turn, a podcast talking about food, entertainment, and sports. Today, we're going to be talking about our top five rappers. Now, I'm just got very recently into rap over the past couple of weeks. I've been experimenting with a lot of different styles, a lot of different artists, and I'm just going to give out what I think is my top five. Now, Ayush here has a lot more experience with rap,
But
and
again,
he's
not like a connoisseur or something of rap. But like I'll listen to it, but like and more than Raghav, but like okay, I'm not like a expert or anything.
okay. Why don't you start with your number five?
Okay, I'll say my number five. And again, just to clarify one thing, when we say old, especially for me, like a lot of my guys aren't like they're still producing music and things like that.
Mm,
And when I say old, that's like kind of when they started, where they didn't start making high quality music just in the recent past. It's like they started again when I was much younger again. Maybe that's because we ourselves are like relatively young when it comes to listening to these things, where like if you look at again, we're not like 40 or 50, so old for us doesn't mean the 1980s in a way. So yeah, we're again like our definition of old isn't really that old. At least
yeah,
mine isn't.
yeah.
So my fifth would be the Notorious Big, better known as Biggie. Now again, he didn't make too much music, so it's kind of just a quality over quantity before because he died soon enough. But like especially his hits, like his true best ones, I feel those again they're like pretty elite type music. And for the small sample size, again, I just I couldn't find much people better, many people better than him at his like peak, although it was pretty short.
Okay, so in our last podcast episode, we had quite a bit of agreements. And in this one, my number five is also Big, also known as Biggie. I think many of his songs are really good. Yeah, he didn't produce that many, but he made some pretty high quality songs. In many lists, they put him as number one. I think he's at number five, but I really like his music.
Putting
Yeah.
him at number one is just exclusively using those like two albums he produced or something like that.
hmm
And like to put someone as like the greatest on two albums just doesn't seem fit. Like I don't know about you, but I don't think like you could be he could be number one with two albums, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so my number four is gonna be Eminem. Now, again, we're saying old. I don't think he's anywhere near number four right now, or like in the recent past whenever he's doing stuff. But I feel, especially like that was kind of before he did all the like just like 500 million words per minute type thing. So he had like a lot more style and like the flow, and I feel like a lot of the songs are just like a lot punchier, and that's like it was like the early phase of like one's career where you feel like as you get older you start to sing and like talk about other things. You talk more about like how much money you have and things like that, but like in the beginning you don't have that much money. You still say I have a lot of money and things like that, but you really like you mean it, but not like wholeheartedly. Like, he'll have a few million, but like now he'll be worth like hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
So it's still a difference. Like there's like this is like that stage where like I buy absolutely whatever I want stage. So like again, I think at least back then
Yeah.
he was I put him as number four.
Yeah, so I really wanted to put Eminem on this list, but he just didn't make it. If I could extend it, I'd probably put him at like six or seven, but he just got left off. For my number four, I'm putting Wu-Tang Clan. I think their music is pretty high quality, not as good as many of the other ones. There's a lot of things that I don't like about their music, but there is a lot that I do like about their music. So number four is a pretty good place for them.
Okay, I won't
They
comment too
haven't
much.
made music in a while, though.
Don't listen to that artist and that group much.
Yeah.
Okay, number three for me would be Drake. Again, this is really the thing where I was talking about old stuff. Again, he's like 35 or something, but he's been making music for like well over a decade at this point. And you have to remember, you have to consider we're not exactly the oldest listeners. So, and if you use his older music, like this was again when I was like a child when he was producing these songs, I do think that was his peak, and I feel like it's kind of similar to Eminem, just like a younger version of Eminem in a way, where like I feel like those lines carry like a lot more like punch and things like that. And again, that's kind of why I'm using like I'm putting him because again, he's not like old per se because he's still making music and it's still pretty high quality, but like if we exclusively use that, I feel that's kind of his peak. He's not washed or anything. He's just like kind of taken a step back.
I'm not really much into Drake. I don't think his music like is that good. I think
I
it's
mean,
definitely
because
much
right
better
now it's
quality.
not really like all about like bars and things like that. So again, like a style change type thing, like Eminem. Although
Yeah.
they haven't had the same style change, but like like again, I'm considering his older stuff
Yeah, I
for me.
see. I see what you mean. Okay, so for my number three, I have to put Tupac because his music, it's not a lot of it is not about drugs or violence or gangs and stuff. A lot of it's like inspiring, talks about life. It's very deep. I like
Yeah.
the lyrics a lot. That's one of the
Better than a
biggest,
lot of stuff that people say now, where it's all like
yeah.
a lot of the stuff now is just like all like the same generic outline, and everyone just
That's
like slightly
why I
tweaks
was
it.
so hesitant to get into rap. But once I like started experimenting with it on my own, that's when I started liking it. And Tupac is definitely one of the best with
Yeah, I
those.
feel he's kind of like a Biggie type thing because he
Mm,
obviously died early,
yeah,
so he didn't like produce the most music. So I just felt again like yeah, you're taking a pretty small sample size from someone like that, and I feel like just
yeah.
Biggie's peak was just better in my opinion. So
Okay, okay.
great. Now my number two is gonna be Kendrick Lamar. Again, I'm saying old, like
Kendrick
why
Lamar
don't I
is
just
quite
define
recent.
old? When I define old, I mean things like when I would have started listening to like rap music, things that had like albums and things like that, or artists that had like been produced or had been producing like for like a substantial period of time before I started listening to this stuff. So again, like for the millionth time, if you're like 37, when you started listening was probably a lot like what was like a lot before when I started listening. So for me, again, Kendrick Lamar again hasn't posted in quite a while. I think I started listening after he made his last album. So like, but anyways, yeah, I'll put him at number two,
Okay.
and this is again really like what you said about Tupac, like his whole life thing. Like he'll sprinkle in things like the general like the big three things, that a lot of people do, but like they feel like a lot more like true and like all the stuff is better. Like things like To Pimp a Butterfly, again, that's reasonably old. It's like especially for someone like me, it's pretty old. And like that's as close I think as it's about as close as it gets like a 10 out of 10 album. So I'll put him at number two.
Okay. So for my number two, we are going to LA. We are going to South LA. We are going to Compton with
Oh,
NWA. Yeah, I like them. They're obviously quite old. They haven't made any music in a very long time, and they haven't made that much music either. But out of all the songs they have, I like their music. I thought Straight Outta Compton had a really good soundtrack. Other songs like Express Yourself, yeah, it's really good. It's high quality.
okay. So I don't even consider them if I'm being honest. Like
What?
I don't even think of them until you said it right now. Um, my number one's gonna be Nas. Now, like he's just like an older version of Kendrick Lamar, honestly. Like just older and somewhat better. Like he was more diverse than a lot of people. For his like style, he could do so many more things. Like you had songs like New York State of Mind, which is like hardcore rap stuff, which again might be like, in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the greatest rap song I've ever heard. And then you had other things like If I Ruled the World, which
Mm,
is like a greater commentary on like other things like activism and stuff like that.
yeah,
So like again, going to your point about Tupac and your third one, he talked about like racial movements and things like that, and not just like he wasn't just slapping on generic things. He was saying like truly like higher thought type things. Again, it doesn't really apply to me, but like just the content of it. Like there was one line in a song, I think it was either If I Ruled the World or If the World Is Yours, or one of those songs. He said like empty every cell in Attica, send them to Africa. And like I just remember this line because obviously I was doing stuff like this in school where like we were reading a book about like 1960s America or something like that. And like this these type of things just resonated. It was just so different and so much better than a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
again, that's my number one.
Okay, so yeah, I got into rap because you always played Nas when we were chatting in Discord, and he was one of the first artists I listened to. So he's gonna go on my number one spot as well. Yeah, best
Okay, that
songs.
makes sense. I thought you already said your number one. I like the second you started saying that, I was thinking, wait a minute. I was about to say, kind of disrespectful to not put him in the top five.
Yeah, number two is NWA, but
Okay, I
yeah,
thought it was
number
your
one
number
is
one.
Nas. Yeah, best songs are like New York State of Mind, If I Rule the World is Yours. Um,
Gosh, man,
You
all
Can
these are
Hate
like,
Me Now. Yeah,
yeah, I get all that. Like, okay, I was kind of confused there. I
oh
thought you didn't have him in the top five at all. Like, not even an honorable mention, anything like that. Like, you
yeah.
gave Eminem an honorable mention. I was gonna say,
You have any
okay,
other honorable mentions?
not really. Like, I feel like Nas and Kendrick Lamar were kind of like one and two. I knew that. After that, I really didn't know how to rank like the next three. I feel like they're all close to each other, like a step within each other. And then like I really didn't even like consider anyone else other than that much. Like again, I don't like I said, I don't have like thousands of options because I don't listen to all that many people, but still.
Yeah,
Um
so I'm gonna have to give an honorable mention to Rakim. I think his music is pretty okay. It's pretty good.
okay, I mean I could give honorable mentions to some people, like just because you feel like they're legends and you want to. People like Jay-Z, for example.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
ask me, like I don't think he deserves to be in this top five. Like
yeah,
okay,
definitely.
but, like
I mean, his quality got a lot worse over the years.
I'm not gonna say it got worse or anything. I'm just saying like like he's the great artist. He's just not as good as these people. Simple as
Yeah,
that. Like I don't know what to say.
I hear you. I hear you.
And again, this could be like bias type stuff. Like I'm sure, like for example, take someone like Drake over Jay-Z. That's kind of controversial, but like
Hmm.
I don't know. That's just what I'm gonna say. And plus, I'll admit I'm probably gonna be biased about like you're taking the people in general. Like I feel people like not if you listen to these people just speak in general, they don't seem like they're like just your average singers and they just talk about, look, I have so much money, I did all this, all that. They seem like genuine like intellectual type guys. Like I think I saw him speak in this documentary, The Last Dance, the Bulls documentary, and it was about how he was talking about Jordans and the culture of them and how, like, you had to have them and things like that. And just the way he spoke, he didn't speak like, like he didn't speak like a singer or anything, like a guy who was like kind of illiterate or anything. He spoke as well as like an English teacher, like a professor or
Yeah.
any like renowned scholar type thing. And then one day I was like in English class, I was reading aloud to the whole class. My teacher had put my name in that, and it was about like like alternative forms of writing. And then I saw like Kendrick Lamar had won a Pulitzer Prize for something like that. Now, like if you took this uh if you I doubt he went to college or something like that. So if you say like high school diploma earning man in high school diploma earning black man in like in like a rough part of Los Angeles, I think it was Compton, probably in Compton, he like gets does better than like like the best English scholars at Harvard and Princeton and all these universities, because again that achievement speaks for itself. You wouldn't believe it for the most part until you say like, okay, these guys actually are like that great. And that's kind of what separated those two above from everyone else, because they were just like they just seemed like different. Like I said, the subject of the songs and just the way they are, like outside of the songs also.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But
If I had
yeah,
to
so
give an honorable,
over the next couple weeks or a long time, I'm gonna keep experimenting with different styles of rap,
makes
different
sense. I
artists.
mean, if I have an honorable mention, I feel maybe someone like J. Cole would deserve an
Mm,
honorable mention. But like again, I don't want didn't want to include him because of the age thing, where you feel like he's not as old as these other guys in a way. So like I don't know. Maybe you include him, maybe you don't. Like I'll put him as an honorable mention, I guess. Like yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So
So do you have anything else to add?
I do not think so. Don't think
Okay
so.
then.
All right. That is going to wrap up this episode of the 2 Point Turn. Please leave your recommendations on what we should do next. We are available on all major podcast platforms, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Radiocast, Pocket Cast, wherever you want to go. Thank you for watching and keep smiling.